group admitted than the older population?
That's because there are far more people in that age group than in the older population.
So it's absolute numbers, not percentages of that group.
That's right.
Okay. So here in California, Governor Newsom issued a stay-at-home order. So we are on lockdown here. Now, his justification, he gets on the TV and he gives us what his numbers are to justify why this is happening. And the numbers are along these lines. We have 40 million people here. He thinks 50% of the people in California will contract the virus. That's 20 million. And up to 20% of them will need hospital beds. Do those numbers sound reasonable based on everything we know from China, Korea, Japan, and all these other countries?
No. I mean, if you look at China, which has a population of about 1.4 billion, they reported 90,000 cases. That number may be wrong, but I think the 3,300 deaths that they reported probably is right. I mean, that's 3,300 deaths in a country of 1.4 billion, which would account for maybe 1,100 deaths in our country, which is, again, 1/20th to 1/50th of what we see every year with influenza. So it's hard to buy that. Even Italy, which now has sort of approaches 4,000 deaths in a population of 60 million people, that would be roughly 20,000 deaths, which is the low end of the spectrum of what we see every year with influenza. So in terms of deaths. So I just don't buy it. I think we're really scaring the hell out of people. I've heard from reputable sources these prognoses that we're going to have, millions and millions of deaths in this country. I mean, the virus came here in January. The community spread was documented in January. We're towards the end of March, and we have about 270 deaths compared to the 22,000 to 52,000 deaths from flu. I think, what we don't know, the biggest unknown here, I think, is how long this lasts. I mean, if this virus does act like human coronaviruses, which is to say it's a winter spring virus, then we'll see the cases abate come late spring, early summer. But we don't know that. It's a bat coronavirus, so it's never really had a debut in the human population. So we'll see whether or not its characteristics are similar to those of human coronavirus.
You just mentioned about the testing, and I hate to keep getting back to testing, but I still find it astonishing that the U.S. still doesn't have widespread COVID-19 test kits available out in the community. The president keeps saying that anyone who wants a test can get a test, and that's obviously completely